Hi everyone, so welcome to another week. We're going to be analyzing, since it's the start of the week, we're going to be starting with DXY before we analyze one other pair. So I think today we'll analyze DXY and BTC. And if we still have time, we can look at US oil. Last week we analyzed GU, BTC, and DXY. All right. So we are on the monthly time frame on DXY, and these are the analysis we had from last week. So I think these are lines on the higher time frames are still valid. We've not had a change in them. So let's see. I think maybe this line needs to be edited since this is now the lowest low. Yes. All right, moving to the weekly time frame. Let me adjust this line here. Yes. So I think on the weekly time frame, we're good to go. On the daily time frame, let's see what we have. Beautiful. So on the daily time frame, you noticed the market is touching this point. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame. Yes. So on the 4-hour time frame, we can notice that the market from last week analysis, this was the most recent trend line. We had this line, this one, which has just been broken, moving up. So from our last week analysis, we had estimated that the market will react on these resistance zone and then come down. So all of last week, it was just consolidating. They did not have enough momentum to go down. Rather, this week is beginning with a very powerful momentum for it to come and react on this trend line up here. So this trend line has been broken. So we'll probably be waiting for a retest on this trend line to continue buying. And this here becomes, this setup here is now invalidated because it's broken the trend line that gave us that setup. So let me take out these were our analysis from last week, all these lines. So this other trend line down here is still valid. This is still very valid. Okay, so let's see where the market is heading to. So this is the 4-hour time frame. We're going to wait for this candle to close to see if it's going to close as a body or rejection. So if it's a rejection, then we'll be expecting the market to move down. But if it's a body, we'll be expecting the market to break this trend line, retest, and then head towards this other resistance zone up here. So right now, that's the direction of the market. We're waiting for this candle to close for us to confirm if the market is going up this week or it's going to be going down. So going to moving over to BTC. So from our last week analysis on BTC, we're expecting a buy, right? So let me just take off most of these lines here from our analysis of last week. All of these lines are no longer valid. So currently we are kind of in a consolidation. So if you see all of this zone, we are consolidating here. And you know what happens when the consolidation is piling up, right? It's preparing for a very big momentum. It's grabbing a lot of liquidity, preparing for a momentum. So it's like the accumulation, manipulation, distribution strategy. Okay. So moving on to analysis on the 4-hour time frame. So we notice that we are looking at the buy. So this was a good entry. I entered here. This is when I did this analysis and I entered here, but it has been confirmed. We had a video on this line break and retest. This was a perfect confirmation to enter. So we can still, I think it's still retesting. Let's go down to the 1-hour time frame and see its behavior to try to look for another opportunity to enter. So I think I can turn on the ASEAN high and low. So from this, We either expect it to come and react on this trend line down here before it continues buying, or it comes and grabs liquidity. Grabbing liquidity is going to come right down to this other trend line and retest it again. So this is the trend line here. Yes, so we have either an early entry, which is when it touches this trend line, you can enter with a very small lot size, or you wait for it to come right down here and sweep liquidity before you enter a buy, and it's going to be heading up. So yes, that's what we'll be looking at on BTC. Then on US oil, okay, I think we have a lot going on, so let me just take all of this out. Take off all these lines that are not necessary. So we had a beautiful setup last week and it hit our take profit. So let's move a little bit up to a higher time frame. We can turn off our ASEAN session high and low. So we see that the crude oil is in a beautiful upward motion. So we're looking for buy entries, right? So it's currently on a support and resistance zone. It's broken it, it's tested it, so it's still buying. So we have to find now a way to enter buy. So in this case, I think we can draw another trend line below here. So if we have a trend line from here to here, yes. So let me try taking it down to the 15 minutes time frame and turning on the Asian high and low. Yes, so this is what we have. So right now where the market is, I would advise that we wait for it to get to one of the trend lines we have drawn. So you see here that the market is kind of in the middle of the trend line. So either it comes to this trend line for us to see its behavior, if it's a retest, if it's a rejection, or it's a body, or we wait for it to come down here. But remember, we're looking for buy opportunities. So obviously if it comes here, we don't want to enter a sell, or if you're taking a sell, it should be a very short sell. But if it comes and touches this line, then we'll be ready to enter a good buy. So here, I think that's going to be it for this morning. Let me see if we can have a look at EU. Last week we saw G. Let's look at EU this time around. So our buy setup on EU is still on. Our buy setup on EU is still on. Let me reduce some of the lines we have. We don't need all of these lines. I think these were old analysis. Let me take this off. Take this off. All right. So we're in an upwards motion. If you see from the 4-hour time frame, we're in an upwards trend line. So this trend line here has been broken. Then I can adjust the safety line. So this is a safety line for the upward trend line. And when I say safety line, I mean if you're in a buy, you have to make sure this is where you'll be taking your stop loss. Once the market breaks this trend line, then it's a signal for you to be out. That's why we call it a safety trend line. This other line here is an action trend line. This is what caused us to take our entry. This trend line was broken, we tested, and then this other line is the safety trend line. So in this case, you can clearly see that we are in an upward move. Let me take out this setup here. So now we have to find another setup. We have to wait for a retracement to join the buy. So there's still a lot of consolidation going on here. Probably there's going to be a very large momentum very soon. So on the 1 hour time frame, or right down to the 15 minutes time frame, let's see what we have. So this is a very beautiful consolidation, also a support and resistance zone here. And then we also have, I think this one from down here, sorry about that. We also have this from down here. So we've noticed the market is moving in this range. So once it breaks this range, it's going to move with a lot of momentum. So let's look at our trend line, these zones. So we have a trend line from here to here. Let me quickly grab trend line. Okay, so I think we're going to be waiting for a retracement, a temporal sell, a short sell before we buy. So I think that's it. Time is up. And please leave your comments in the comment section what you think this week is going to look like. So remember, from our DXY, it's currently, we cannot say right now because it's currently on the trend line, but if that 4-hour candle closes as a body, then we should be expecting a buy on the DXY, and the buy means it's going to be selling EU or GU. But if it closes on that trend line with a rejection, then we should be expecting a sell on DXY, meaning we should buy EU and GU. So see you in the next video. Bye.